example 9 on page 528, multiply these two factors. Now, each factor has two terms. Second factor has two terms as well. So, look like we're going to use for methods or distribute. So, solution. Given for square root of 3 plus square root of 2 times square root of 3 minus 5 square root of 2. Alright. I'm going to distribute using the following methods. You take this first term, you multiply to each term of the second factor, and then you will take this, you multiply each term into each term of the second factor. So 4 square root of 3 in the first term, multiply these two terms. Okay? 4 root 3 times root 3, and then subtract, because continue, you get subtracts. 4 root 3 times 5 root 2, 5 root 2, okay? And then, so we take the first term in the first factor, multiply to each term inside the second factor. Then you take the second term in the first factor, multiply each term inside the second factor. So we have plus 2 plus square root of 2 times square root of 3, okay? And then take this, distribute this. You have negative root 2 times 5 root 2, okay? It's good to double check. Let's double check. Take this times this, we get this. Take this times this, we get negative of this, and multiply this. And then take the second term, root 2 times this, you have positive root 2 times root 3. Take this times this, you have negative root 2 times 5 root 2. Okay? And then combine like term and simplify. Now, this is multiplication, right? Root 3 times root 3. Again, for multiplication, you only need to check if they have the same index, okay, root. So square root, right? Same index, k equal 2. That means you can combine these two factors, 4 times square root 2, and then multiply the radicands. And then continue here, we have minus 4 root 3 times 5 root 2. You can multiply 4 and 5 coefficient, right? So 4 times 5. And then root 3 times root 2. Again, root 3 times root 2, both have the same index, k equal 2, which satisfy this condition. So that means you can combine them as the same radical with the same root, square root, and then multiply the two radicands, 3 and 2. Okay? And then plus here, again, these two radicals, when you multiply, you only need to check the index. Both have the index k equal 2 because this is square root, so you can combine them as the same square root and then multiply the radicands 2 and 3. The last term is negative, subtracts. So root 2 times 5 root 2. This 5 is outside root 2, just rewriting this here. Now, root 2 times root 2 both have the same radical. And when you multiply, all you need is both have the same k root or index. So both have index 2 and 2 here. So you can combine them. Take radicand times radicands. Okay? And then simplify 4. 3 times 3 is 3 squared. Minus 4 times 5 is 20. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 2 times 3 is 6. Minus 5 times, which is root 2 of 2 times 2 is 2 squared. Okay? Now, I purposely want to put 3 times 3 is 3 squared instead of putting 9. The reason is that I see this is the square root. And remember, square root, that means the index is 2, right? So the index is 2, and if the factor inside this radical has the exponent 2 matched with the index 2, that means you can factor this 3 outside. So 4 times 3 minus 20. Now, again, look for these two terms. Both have square root of 6, right? So they have the same radical. And again, these two terms combine. These two terms have side negative and plus. So that means you're going to take this term, add with this term. So for addition of two radical terms, you need to verify these two conditions. So first, do they have the same index or k-root? And the answer is yes, because both have square root. And square root, k equal 2, k equal 2, so they match. So the first condition is met. The second one is same radicants. Do these two radicals have the same radicants? So this radical has 6 as the radicand. This radical has 6 as the radicand. So this second condition also met. So that means you can combine these two terms when you're adding them because both of these conditions satisfied. So I'm going to combine these two. So I'm going to have plus negative 20 plus, you don't see any coefficient here, is actually 1, okay? Root 6. Okay? So basically I'm factoring out square root 6. The remaining is negative 20 plus 1. 1 is the coefficient of square root of 6. You don't see it, but it's there. Okay? And then don't forget to put the plus here. Okay? And then for this, negative 5. And again, this is square root, right? That means the index is 2. And this factor is 2 squared. It has the exponent 2. And index is 2. So both match, right? 2, 2. That means you can factor this 2 outside the square root. Simplify. We have 4 times 3 is 12 plus negative 20 plus 1 is negative 19. Square root of 6 minus 5 times 2 is 10. And then simplify further, we have 12. Now, there's another constant term here. It's 12 minus 10 is 2. This plus and negative distribute, you have negative 19 square root of 6. Okay? So, we're given these two factors, and each factor has two terms. Basically, we FOIL out, we get 4 terms. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're using the multiplications rule for the index, for the same index radical. So we simplify, combine each radical since they have same index when we multiply them. And then simplify at the end when we run into the case where both have, but this case, you adding the two radicals. That's when you check these two conditions, and it turns out these two terms satisfy. That means you would combine them by writing the two terms that involve square root of 6 to only one term that has square root of 6, which is here. Okay? And then when you combine them, you're adding the coefficient. So coefficient of this term is negative 20. So that's why you have it here. And the coefficient of this term is 1, that's why you have 1 here. And because the link between this term with these two terms and this terms are addition, right? Combining them. That's why I have the add here. Okay? Because I already used this side here. I must have something else to replace. So I use add. Remember, positive times negative is still negative. So that's why I don't change the sign by putting the addition here. And then for this, you simplify the 2. And then at the rest, you just combine like term and simplify. So the answer for example 9 is 2 minus 19 times square root of 6. Okay?